intro. Fancy.
What's up, everybody? This is SOS Rampages back again with the next episode of Breaking the Wrestling Barriers with Over That Away.
I am SOS Farm.
I caught him applying the chapstick, though. As you continue.
I gotta square up, man. The ladies are out here. Yo, man. Hey, did you see?
Up and square.
Yo, did you see? We got like 80 views on one video.
Look at that. Hey, what are you hoping there's ladies now? So now you're gonna put some chapstick on.
I'm just saying, statistically, that's like 20 women. So, you know.
I don't know what statistics you're doing over there, but we appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Please let us know in the comments if you want to change the name up. Let us know, any other topics you want to hear us talk about as far as like in the wrestling world. We're pretty much open to talk about anything and everything as far as that's concerned. And outside the wrestling world, it is all in the channel that you see beforehand.
Let's talk about chapstick.
Beforehand? What do you want to talk about?
It's so refreshing. Especially on like a cold winter day. What's your favorite flavor or variety to get?
Isn't it just chapstick? Isn't that just is it just called chapstick?
Whatever lip moisturizer you use to get into the
Is this where we're going with our first couple minutes? We're going to talk about moisturizer.
You said we talk about anything and everything. I'm a viewer. I watch your videos. I want to talk about chapstick real quick.
So now you're admitting that you clicked the video 80 different times to bulk that video up. I see you.
No, I watched it once and I left a comment because I did not see your video and you told me about it and I wanted to see it because I am a fan.
Going back to what we are all fans of and why we are here as fans of wrestling.
What about the chapstick?
Let's see if you want to know what type of chapstick I use, leave it in the comments below and I'll let you know what kind of chapstick I will use.
Okay.
But if not, because he gave himself away, he can't even put it. He put it all on the screen and everything. But he's got his handy dandy notebook out to talk about his side of things.
Ask Rampage.
Doesn't count if you. It doesn't count if you do it.
Chapstick.
Doesn't count if you do it. It doesn't count if you do it.
I'm a fan. Okay, so you don't want my viewership.
Bring back out your notebook and tell us where we had in the good old land of Connecticut.
I don't know, Boringville. Oh, you mean?
Yes, as usual. That's why you're covering it, and I don't.
Damn. So why do you cover AEW?
Because I enjoy it over here.
It's because you're full of sauerkraut and you don't know what you're talking about? All right, so in the land of Connecticut, we've got some bloodline news, ladies and gentlemen. This is very interesting. So,
you're gonna do this video like you're watching wrestling side view. You're like side satellite.
So, ladies and gentlemen, no, I'm not gonna do it like that. Maybe next time. So, Jey Uso is not trying to mess with his family. He's done with them, Rampage. We had our time. It was cool, but I'm good. Yeet, son, yeet. All right. I'm doing me. They're like, nah, you ain't never doing you. We always doing us. So then he gets involved with Solo and them, and they're like, so what you doing, bruh? And he's like, don't call me bruh. I'm not your bruh. Hold on.
I'm gonna shake that out of you.
I almost turned into Kyle Fletcher.
And we're not there
Yeah. So Solo's like, what are you doing? Like, we need to figure this out. I'm not about that. Get away from me. With all due respect, no yeet. And Solo's like, no yeet? Okay, that's cool. We're going to get him. Eventually, they get him. Now, Jay is no longer the Intercontinental Champion.
Was it worth doing all that for, like, to put it on, like, to take it off of him so fast and to put it on him? Was it worth even putting the Intercontinental title on him?
Yes.
Okay.
T-shirts. They redesigned the title. Like, it might have only lasted like a month, but like, what a month of buzz it was. Like,
Yeah.
It was like almost if like they gave someone the WWE title back in the day for like a month, and like just to feel it out, just to see how the crowd responds. And the crowd was 100% behind this. Like, from this little experiment, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, we could definitely do more title runs with Jey Uso. But going back, so Solo and them, they've cost Jay his first independent championship that he's had. And now he's in his mind of like, my brother, my twin, Jimmy is coming at me. He wants to squash this. Roman's back. He's still cool with Sammy. Everything's it's like a stew or a soup, and like, we're stirring ingredients. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna get my Darren Young on real quick. I'm stirring the pot. Um, Darren Young did that, right?
Okay, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Could have been no. Could have been Angela Dawkins. I can't remember.
No, he did it too, but
could be Red Velvet. Your
I don't know.
Red Velvet is the more recent one.
I gotta watch some old wrestling back again to remember. But anyway, it's all building up. It's a slow build, and the water is about to start to boil. I lost my notes.
All right, so after you took that roundabout way to say that the bloodline cost Jey Uso the title, and told it like the entire bloodline story that WWE's been telling for like 2 years, what else we got going on? And that's all leading to like War Games, correct? Like that's where this.
That's what we all have in our mind.
No.
The question is The Rock involved?
No.
As far as the women's roster, we've got Raquel and Liv now being a unit again, former women's tag team champions, against Rhea, who is also a former women's tag team champion with Liv, which makes the whole triangle interesting because Rhea and Raquel and NXT were aligned. So like, they all are connected, but not interjectually. Why did
Intertwined?
Yeah. One of the words we just said there. Also,
there's a huge rumor out there, since you're speaking on Rhea, there's a huge rumor out there that they're really leaning into Dominic and Rhea being just a feud. Do you think that we're back ready for it? Do you think that's the feud that we do with it? Do you think that that is launching Rhea into more male feuds in the men's division? Or do you think that's just a one-off because of how hot the feud is?
I think if they are going to eventually have Rhea lean into, did I say Rhea or Leah?
You said Rhea, yeah.
Okay. where's my brain at? If they're gonna have Rhea lean into fighting men, then the first one should be Dominic because he's already got the crowd that does not mess with him. Plus, like, if there's gonna be one male superstar that like strikes her first, they're gonna get like the biggest boos. And it like he's already like I don't want to compare him to MJF, but like Dominic is a scumbag.
Yeah. I
He's
mean,
not.
do you
He,
think that the WWE is ready for it as far as like they don't even really do that in AEW? I mean, AEW does a lot of kind of wild out there stuff, and they stay away from that. I mean, they do a little bit of more of the male on female stuff, but it's nothing like a full match or anything. But in a lot of other promotions, and there was a lot of other runs. I mean, AKA like Tessa Blanchard when she was doing a run in Impact. I mean, it's around there. I wouldn't be surprised eventually if we see Jordan Grace go over because she's a tank and a half.
I'm waiting for her to sign her new contract.
Yeah.
It's
either she goes to WWE or she starts going to the men's division of Impact. Like it's one or the other.
I think it's only one. She's already made appearances. She's in the fold. They're aware of her. They say her name. Like she is an entity in that division.
What else do you have in your handy book over there?
Also, tied to Nia is Tiffany Stratton. So then we have the whole Money in the Bank situation. So with Liv fighting Nia at Crown Jewel, then there's always the factor of Tiffany Stratton could either show up during the match or show up after the match and take advantage of either situation A or situation B.
Right.
So we don't know. And also Naomi is tied into this. Like, do not forget about Naomi. She is a former women's champion. She had her own custom women's championship, like the same way that Daniel Bryan had that. I was gonna call it the vegan championship. The eco-friendly WWE championship, which I really wanted to buy that when that came out. I still want it. Like it's so fresh, man. Like it's made out of wood and like gems and stones that you get from the ocean and like yeah, that too. I'm not gonna smoke it.
But that's what it's made out of. That's what they said it was made out of.
Well, yeah, it's a natural ingredient. Also,
exactly.
Car parts were made out of hemp back in the day before they made it illegal. I know you're not going to oppose to that, Rampage, because I know what side you're on. That's why you're just going to giggle. But we're just going to spit. That's an actual fact. But Naomi's wrapped in here. The Wyatt Six came back. That's interesting. Karrion Kross and the Final Testament are trying to use their evil influence to persuade the Miz to do their biddings. And I don't know. For me, honestly, I'm a big fan of the Miz, obviously, and Bo Dallas is my guy, and I was a big fan of the Miztourage. So, like, if these two are going to go into a program together, like, I am all for that, personally.
There's a lot of history there, so there's definitely a lot of history there, so it should be interesting. But I also think it's going to be kind of I don't know. I still have my, I don't want to say doubts about the Wyatt Six, but I'm still waiting to see it gear up a little bit more and see where we're actually going with it, as far as like we're getting out of these like random attacks that really don't lead to me. Like, and maybe this is me forgetting, was there ever an ending with the Chad Gable thing? Was that just we just stopped messing with that? I feel like there was a match. I'm sure there was matches. I mean,
like there was like a deep storyline, and then there was like a match or a series of matches, and then that was
we just
that
moved
was
on. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if this is what we're doing, I guess this is what we're doing. But like, I'd like a little bit more idea of motivation behind it. And I guess he's like kind of almost attacking, people from his past or whatever. Kind of, I don't know. We're still building the story, so I'm still giving it time. But that's where I'm at with it. Where I'm excited and I'm curious, and I think it's gonna be a good match. But I still want to see where we're going overall with it.
And my last note is the Seth and Bronson Reed storyline, which is they're finally going to have their first match at Saudi Arabia.
Woot. Saudi shows. Yay, blood money. Gotta love it.
Hey, calm down, Phil.
That's why he's gone away for a little bit.
Hey, man, he's hurt, man. Ow. Oh. Ah. Man, that Hell in a Cell was crazy.
That was good. But
yeah, you got to recover. But we should talk about this gentleman in the background now.
This angry transformed gentleman. This is where I started with this, and it is the title of the episode as well. So I kind of want to see where you kind of stand with it. And this is only going off of 2 matches, obviously. Is this the best Shelton Benjamin we've ever seen?
So far, yes.
I feel like it's an evolved version of Shelton. Like, I think this is his. It's like he works like that 2005 version, but then he added on like the suplexing, like overall strength.
Shelton Benjamin has evolved into All Elite.
It's like he has all the strength and the speed. It's almost kind of similar, I would say, in the way that AJ Styles transformed when he came back to Impact after going to Japan. It's kind of like he has the striking style that he was always quick and always athletic. That was always Shelton's thing. But he brought that with now this more hard hitting, this strength that's just a ridiculous amount of strength that's out of nowhere that he definitely. He's built over time, but they're letting him actually work and they're letting him do what he needs to do.
And he has 20 years of experience.
And him matching with MVP is like a perfect, especially if that's MVP's whole focus is kind of getting Shelton and putting him into that light, as well as with the booking of Tony Khan is kind of like this is that nostalgia act that he kind of looks to. I mean, you can see that all up and down with the way he's booking it, and a lot of the people that want to work with him. I mean, Sammy taking the picture with him, and that's been a synonymous picture for a while with Sammy with the long hair, hugging Shelton. And you can see the way that they work with him. I mean, Leo and Sammy give everything to showcase. I mean, Mans did the Shawn Michaels. He got to recreate the Shawn Michaels spot with Sammy.
Rampage. Imagine this. You get to have a match with Shelton Benjamin. You see all the things that just flashed in your mind?
Mm.
That's what they're all doing. They're like, oh my God, I get to have a match with Shelton Benjamin? I want to do this. I want to do that. I want him to do this. He can do that. If we could pull this off, that would be great.
And I think we're getting closer to that kind of final moveset that he's going to be using. He kind of tried some stuff out with Leo last week. And you could tell, I don't want to say like necessarily, because they weren't botches. They were just there were adjustments to the move that he did this week that I liked a lot, where like last week he did the step up like knee or that step up like kick when he tried to dive outside, and he hit it, but like you could tell he kind of like almost messed himself up, but he caught himself. He did that to the corner this time to set up before the T-bone, and it's like, okay, that's That's a safer way to do it, and it still looks cool that nobody's done a step-up kick in the corner. When someone's just in the corner, you step up off the middle rope and just kick them in the face real quick like an uppercut. Right. And that still looks cool, and it sets them up in a perfect way. It's kind of like how I always liked CM Punk doing that setup of the running knee into the next move. Like, that's a perfect, signature into the finisher combination.
I still do that on the games to this day.
So I think, the big test is obviously going to be this next week going ahead against Swerve. I mean, they've already put it out there. Shelton hasn't lost yet. They don't really have Swerve lose to many people. It's kind of, I think, I don't know. It's going to really show where Shelton's going to sit in AEW, I think, as far as like.
I think Shelton wins.
I think I think this might be Bobby time. I could see. Or some sort of help. Yeah. They did give a little bit of like a when he gave the card to Ricochet in the backstage promo. Ricochet kind of was given that lean in, and Ricochet had the suit on, and I mean everybody got that kind of like that's be an interesting pairing because like it would help Ricochet definitely to have that extra little bit of a mouthpiece as well because he can do all the moves and all the things, but. Is really seeing what they are going to finalize this Hurt Syndicate as. Like, what is this going to look like? What is this final form going to be? Because they've already established pretty hard, unless they're trying to stay out of the pun. Unless there's a huge Swerve here, it's not going to be Swerve with them.
All right.
It's going to be someone else. And there's also been a bunch of other people. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how things transpire next week and also moving kind of forward into another storyline going over in AEW, how this private party match ends up next week with them versus the Young Bucks and them saying, or specifically saying, Isaiah Cassidy saying, if they lose, they're going to break up forever.
Yeah.
So that leaves one of them to possibly slide up into that Hurt Syndicate because one of them, I mean, they're going to be needing homes for both of them.
Yeah. Forever is forever. That's a big deal. You can't just say that and then get back together.
And you know that there's definitely, especially in MVP's mind and probably also Shelton's mind, there's going to at least be a spot for at least one or two young up-and-comers in that fashion. It's not just going to be all old. It's going to be, there's going to be a couple of those young bloods in there so that they can, get them, teach them the ways, bring them up because that's what they want to do at the end of the day is bring everybody up. I think that is, I mean, that there are not many times when teams put the breaking up on the line and they come up with it. It's usually a sign of booking. It's a sign of, and it's shown with a lot of the promos that they've done the last couple of weeks with, Private Party, of they've kind of leaned towards the fact that they are going to split up and kind of wouldn't necessarily be bad for them. I don't necessarily like them throwing the forever kind of thing on it.
Oh man, that's like always the storyline. Like, you always remember like the build up to like, oh, if they don't win, they're gonna split up. But then if they do win, all that is like kind of out of your memory until like you go back and then you watch like the third week up to the pay-per-view and you're like, oh yeah, like they did say like if they lost, they would never tag team again. Like, so like if they lose, it's gonna be major. But like if they win, it's going to be their first tag team title win in this company, and we'll move on from the fact that they put unless they like really highlight it forever, like that they put their careers as a tag team on the line.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of like a career match.
And we've also put it out there past couple weeks as well to tag on to, other sources that I've listened to as well of, who are going to be the Young Bucks if it's not Private Party. Like there's a pretty open spot. There's not a easy, these are the people, these are the guys. It's pretty open to whoever wants to take that spot from them. And as one of your favorites, as I've listened to, the Jim Cornette Experience a little bit over there. Huh?
Miro?
No, Miro's still not found. But
can we find him? Man.
As Cornette and as well as other places have brought up, which I do agree, because like I said, huge AEW fan, huge Young Buck fan, but the reaction to them lately has been different. It's not it's almost like people are getting used to what I've seen for, the past decade or so with the Young Bucks. Like you get the gist of the Young Bucks after a while, and I don't know if everybody's really leaning into the heel elite. I don't know. It seems like, and a lot of where it's going to be.
Do you think it's time for the Matt versus Nick storyline?
I don't think there's just nothing there. That's been the issue with it the entire time. I don't think there's anything there, and I don't think there's not. I think they would rather just hang them up.
What? Okay, like no, I feel you on that. Like they're like, we'll do it our way, or we'll just not do it at all. But like, what if they outsmarted everyone and one of them, I don't know, you pick a young buck, pick one.
I'm just like it's not a the storyline, the scenario is like, not a
no. Just pick Matt or Nick.
No.
Just pick one.
It's not there.
One. Just pick one.
It's not there.
Just pick one.
No, I'm not following you down this rabbit hole.
Okay, I'll pick one. So, like, what if Nick decided to go the Cornette route and went traditional wrestling, and then Matt's like, no, and then like that started there. You can cut it off. That's fine. And they started the story. Like, would that reinvigorate them? Would that be enough, or are you like, as the Young Buck fan, like, no?
No, it's not the Young Buck fan. It's Young Buck fans are fine with it. It is the entire. It's why there are not butts in the seats. It is that issue of the fan base is not into this heel Young Bucks thing, and they're not into the fact of this new BCC storyline or whatever the fuck they're doing with the Moxley is gonna probably end up being the Elite coming to help save the day and turn back babyface to try to help them. Nobody wants any of that. It's just, but nobody. It's if they're either gonna go away and do the AVP thing, or they're gonna. I wouldn't even mind seeing them do the tag team thing in WWE. Go do a run for a year or so over there. Like, get your stuff in, but like.
But they've never done the brother versus.
They've never done the brother versus brother match, but I think that there's a New Day quality to that of like there's nobody wants them to break up. No, there's nothing. There's never been. They've done singles matches.
But nobody wants to see them.
That's why they're just gonna go away. Like they're gonna go away. They're gonna go to WWE where people would want to see them, and because people haven't seen them.
No, don't go away. Just think outside the box. Do something different. Like, even if it's a gimmick, like, have Matt be the Cornette guy. Like, no, like, don't even ever say his name. Like, no, he's right. He was always right. And then, like, he just walks away. He comes back, and like his whole wrestling style is different. And then Nick's like, "No, what are you doing?"
The problem that you're having is
a real story.
The problem that you're having is the same problem that we've had with other people in the other company as well, but it's now becoming more of a thing, and it's showing with the AEW, especially originals, of nobody it's like the Dolph Ziggler thing of like, go away. You've been on my TV forever. The Bucks have been on the AEW TV for 5 years. Jericho's been on TV for 5 years, and everybody hates when Jericho comes out and is done with Jericho. It's like everybody that's been there from the beginning, people are done with.
Yeah.
So it's like, unless they're reinventing themselves completely, or
even
if they do, it's just going away and coming back for a little bit so we don't remember you, or going to WWE. It's the same thing with Jericho rumors that people are like, oh, Jericho's going to go to WWE again.
You know what? It all comes down to the man in charge.
Yeah. And I think he would let them go for like a year or so to come back. I mean, everybody wants to do that, right? Especially, I think a lot of them, especially the Young Bucks.
Let anybody go. No one's leaving. Put the castle doors down. No one is leaving. We are on lockdown. Code red. Also, check out a brand new Dynamite this Wednesday night.
I think especially with the Motor City Machine Guns over there, them being so close to the Young Bucks, them having a pretty similar style to the Young Bucks, they're seeing what's going on there. How are they going to get treated? How is that going to go? And then maybe see if that's the route for them as far as like, because that's ideally that's Motor City. That's what they're going to.
This could have been you guys. Like, you guys are like around the same size and around the same age. Like, hey, look at these guys. They're about to be the number one contenders for the tag team title. They might, hey, Triple H, they might even win it. Hey, Paul, stop telling me spoilers.
I think it's really them looking and seeing how Triple H is going to be treating these tag teams, if they are going to be doing, because, I mean, we all have seen it throughout the years of the Hardys coming back doing their run, the Dudleys coming back and doing their run.
Yeah, man.
Ideally, what all of these great tag teams want is that year run, get the belts, do your tag team thing, and then go.
Here's the thing. Phil.
Yeah.
Phil's there.
But I also think that Phil does business at the end of the day, and they're not bringing Jack Perry.
Phil does business, but like, do they want to do business the way that Phil wants to do business? Because Phil, he's not even Punk at this point, because Punk gave them a chance to do business one way, and
you're acting like Phil has all the power. He does not have all the power here.
He doesn't, but he's there and he's established and he's a draw and he's already cool with Triple H after they've already squashed their stuff, and they're probably, I'm
telling you that's not going to have, as far as money is concerned and as far as like trying to do stuff.
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. You're right.
And that's the only thing, and I think it's going to be, especially with how the Bucks come in, and they're going to very much so come in and be able to, talk to Phil and talk to Hunter and talk to all them.
When did we start calling him Phil?
I've been calling him
because like we know the difference when we say Phil and Punk, but like when did we? It's just funny to me.
I think that it's going to be different with them not having this EVP thing. I think they're going to want to come in as just superstars, as just talent, and that's also going to be that thing that is going to be like,
we have some more, sir.
But it's going to be the same way of like Phil. I don't think Phil's going to have an issue with them because of that, because they're just going to be talent. They're not going to have anything like they can literally like, go fuck off in the corner, and he goes fucks off. Like, it's not, they don't have to cross paths, especially with them being so heavy in the tag team division, unless, Phil gets tired and decides to do a tag team run.
I think Punk just still wants to talk. Like, he just wants to sit in a room and like we can yell at each other for like 10 minutes and then we can talk like humans for 15 minutes after that. And then like we can leave cool. But like, this whole like tension, like, oh, you're over there and I'm over here, I don't want to walk over there, like, I'm not, like, no.
I think it's all getting done, as far as like, I think it's all passing over anyway with time, and just, I don't think, I mean, you don't really hear the jabs as much back and forth anymore. I think that's just all, and that's part of what the wrestling world is about, and what the wrestling podcast is about, is breaking down those wrestling barriers. And
you have to chop this bitch out into 3 episodes.
Hey man, you want to talk about the bloodline for like 15 minutes, and
then we want to talk about
and then you brought in Phil, and then you brought in Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson splitting up.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm bringing the content.
You've been just going on all sorts of diatribes, but moving on to the last, will
Besaurus Rex.
We'll bring out the last thing that happened on the show, as well as the last subject we'll bring up, and that is the decimation of a new character on the AEW television show, because it's getting to the point where it's a wrestling show, but it's also just a television show. We're murdering people, and it's like our favorite characters are dying now. And now Chuck Taylor was the newest casualty.
Where's Miro?
Miro would save everyone.
He would if he was in Bulgaria.
But with that being said,
Bulgaria.
how do you feel as far as like, do you think that this is the right move as far as Orange Cassidy being the guy? Do you think this is just the first guy? Do you like what are your first thoughts on what we're doing and how it's going?
As someone that watched AEW somewhat on and off since it started, like Orange Cassidy, I feel like he should be the guy who has finally had enough of this and like stands up for the company and takes down the big bad wolf.
I think it's going to be interesting because it kind of goes against all of his kind of character. So, like, I'm curious to see how they book it and how it works. But
just imagine the John Moxley Orange Cassidy video package to Limp Bizkit My Way. And like the stuff that they've built up with Orange Cassidy throughout the years, and like how like he has that slow sloth style, but then like he builds up and he gets intense. Like, if Mox makes him bleed, have you heard of Blood Orange Cassidy?
He's blood before.
Okay. Because I've seen that name in some comments on YouTube recently, and I'm like, Blood Orange Cassidy? Okay.
I feel the same way about you right now that I felt about Kyle Fletcher shaving his head right in the middle of Dynamite. Bruv.
Hey, bruv. I've had enough of this.
I'm nothing like you.
Want to go to war? Okay. We can go to war. I'm going to bring me a big man, and then a medium man, and then 5 other men, and then I'm going to add a 6th man.
But also touching on other light subjects as far as the Camille and Chris Statlander stare down. Also, Queen Aminata having a great match with Camille. If you have not watched it, please go out and watch that. As well as there was a couple spots where they've definitely hinted this is Mercedes and Queen Aminata is not going to be a one and done thing. There's more fuel to that fire where it's
all the Queen Aminata matches.
As well as seeing how much Statlander has done to, bulk up. And, the fact that she can stand up to Camille like that's ridiculous.
Watch all Queen Aminata's matches and give them all a like and give them all a comment and tell them that she needs merchandise so I can buy it.
She has merch.
She needs more.
Go on shopaew.com. I'm sure there's merch.
Buy me something.
I'm not going to buy you a shirt.
I wasn't just talking to you.
Also, Jericho became the Nueve, 9-time Ring of Honor champion, which ridiculous match and a ridiculous feat. 9-time world champion. I don't know. I think that's what it means. Yeah, 9-time world champion. Yeah.
I was about to say, oh boy, whoa.
He's been just flipping them back and forth. No, you're right. It's a 9-time world champion.
So what's he gonna call himself when he becomes the 10-time champion? Like the X, like the big X? That's when he'll be in a rivalry with Big Bill, and it'll be Big Bill versus the Big X.
Or Big Bill, big shout out to that big choke slam, as well as that carrying Jericho up. That was insane. Insane feat of strength, as well as huge shout out to Mark Briscoe for all that punishment and diving off the giant ladder to the floor and bleeding buckets. And Mark, you the real one. And you know that. No one has to tell you that. The way that you have that, that presence and that bond with the audience, it's second to none. I say it to Farm all the time. I attribute it to that Dusty Rhodes baby. Of like he will feel Mark is the common man now. Like he is our common man. He will do whatever, be whatever, but a lot of his moves are, and they always have been kind of clunky, kind of like a Mick Foley too, in that aspect of like, he just, everything's clunky looking, everything looks like it hurts a little bit, because it probably does hurt a little bit.
Yeah, that's what they say, like, why it looks that good? Because it's real. But like, Yeah, as much as I would love a Mark Briscoe autograph, like if I could just shake his hand and tell him how much I appreciate him, I'd be good with that. I got that moment with RVD.
But with that being said, I think we are at that wrap up time. So we will catch y'all next week when we have the Halloween edition of all of the shows. So I'm sure we'll get all the pumpkin matches and scarecrows and corn, and I don't know what else they use. But down here, SOS Rampages. Check out all the stuff on the channel. You know where you found this video that you see right here, as well as where you'll see the finalization of the Intercontinental title tournament over on this side, as well as on Farm 27 side over there. So we will determine who will be the number one and the only SOS Intercontinental champion after we decide who are our individual champions, as well as we will give you the spoiler here that we will be dropping the ECW draft next week, starting on Monday, so that you all can catch up with our next draft that we will be doing for our next tournament. And then you guys can let us know in the comments as well of, do you all want us to do like one big pay-per-view where we do the matches together? Do you all want like one-offs? We'll decide then. We also have other content as well where we can talk about anything under the sun. We talk about the Ultimate Fighter. We talk about Flavor of Love, Pokemon, all sorts of different things, pay-per-views, anything that y'all want, as well as a bunch of gaming content from me and him as well. Myself being, the shooty, bang, bang, shoot 'em up and punch in the face, and him being the Minecrafting and the, also punching in other aspects. So, also let you promote for yourself over there. Go for it.
I am me, and who is I is what I is. I play a lot of Minecraft. I play Stardew Valley. I stream on Twitch when I want to, and when I have enough energy. I have no schedule, so if you find me, then lucky you. Talk to me. If you don't, then see you next time. I'm on YouTube. Majority of the time right now because I'm getting into editing and whatnot. So I'm here.
That's why we're trying to make our extension over to YouTube. So that's how we're going.
And my name is Farm27.
Yeah, hit the subscribe on me and on Man's over there. So we can bump that up and so that we can get some more live content out to y'all. But with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up. And we will catch y'all next week, where we will talk about all this good wrestling world nonsense and show that there's one big love and one big wrestling world out there for everybody.
Peace. Joe Hendry.
Yeah, Impact is happening.
I believe in Joe Hendry.